Willkommen, bienvenue to the newly musicaled IPSA kind of magic, a place where IPSA members at the Independent Property Search Association, or it's the Independent Personal Search Association, I do apologize, can celebrate their existence and also talk about why what they do is both unique and very useful in this world of extra mechanization and for one size fits all type support. Today we're talking about thanking the people who have been both the supporters and also behind the scenes for their support. Hamish, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning to Gareth. Good morning to all of you who are listening in, and particularly those of you who are IPSA members. It's a reminder, I think, to IPSA members what we want to speak about today, as well as those who are sort of, if you like, sort of friends of IPSA, because without our members, there would be very, very little point. And if you like, the organisation was actually developed for members, and it's a non-profit organisation. With that particular sort of aspect, we rely very, very much on obviously the contribution from our individual members. They pay for their membership, but it is a small membership fee for what they actually sort of receive in return. And it's not something they're committed to. It's not as though thou shalt do it and you can actually stop it any time you want. So it's not a massive commitment, but it does give benefit, and there's much benefit to it, which no other organisation can actually sort of offer, particularly to people who work with the local authority in terms of their research. They're what was called previously local authority search agents, hence the sort of title that we actually sort of have. So that's what IPSA is about. We use those local people. However, what we found, we rely on our membership, but we also rely on being able to support those folk that we're working for, our client base.
Right.
And over time, it has evolved as to what we can do to help support them, because things do change. From when you actually look, IPSA itself, I believe, came into full being in 2005. I've been with them nearly all of that time. But there are some members who, in fact, those that started it, which we do still have one of those on board, and she will certainly be featuring with us regularly because there's an awful lot of contributions she can actually.
Well, let's salute her. Let's salute her. We are, of course, talking about. That's not your Heather.
Sorry?
Is that your Heather?
No. Well, funny enough, Heather supports me in terms of what I do. She is she is certainly one of the sort of senior board, and she's actually sort of on that board. But what we do have is Jackie Dyson, who's appeared on several of these, and most of our members do know Jackie, not just because of the longevity, but because of the contribution she has made to IPSA over the years. But it was her basically with Steve Davis, and Steve's actually fully retired now, and I haven't heard from him since he was touring Europe in his camper van a couple of years back. But no, tremendous service there. But it was the two of them got together actually support. And of course, at that particular point in time, it was purely local authority searches, and therefore there was an element of a challenge, because if that's all we were moving with, that's all we were working with, there were limitations in terms of what we could do. But it's that time period since Jack and Steve first started off working with the local authorities, we found that we can benefit our clients with much, much more.
Well, you have expanded your purview in many ways. You don't just deal with the local authority. You search in other areas. You guys have gradually turned yourselves into not the oracle, but the people who are willing to go that extra mile to find the right amount of information that really helps the buyer.
Oh, absolutely. And what we've found, and initially, of course, it really was solicitors only that we were supporting in the field of what we did. And What makes it very, very simple, and I think we'll probably have to split this into just about every topic we jump upon. We find that, hey, look, this is only a part one. But because it's evolved, it's worth explaining through the evolution, and it's worth explaining because of that, it also explains the benefits. So when we were established when we first started going, it's our 20th year this year, although discussions started in 2003, but the first client came in 2004. So it's sort of 20 years this year. IPSA came along, and that has said 2005, it was formalized. Obviously discussions were going on before then, but it was formalized. And at that particular sort of time, it was recognized that every single search that went forward really needed a local authority search. And that was the main part of it. And that's what the Law Society advocated needed to be the case. And that local authority search, as we know in the past, it could be provided directly from the council, or it could be provided by an independent, or if you like, what they call the personal search is now regulated because we have the regulatory body. What was advised at the time that every search that went forward should contain with it a drainage and water search. Now that's important because you need to know, have you got pipe work in the premises? Have you got running water? Does your drain go somewhere? And that information, but it was advocated that it wasn't advocated that thou hast to have. I mean, in fact, to this very day, you don't have to have certain things depending on the type of transaction, but it makes a lot of practical sense. Now, what has evolved over the, so basically, we have been able to partnership, and through any IPSA member, they will obtain from you not just their own, the regulated local authority search. They can also go to council if that's exactly what you want. And the thing is, now it's got even more complicated because there's the land registry. If you want land registry, land charges stuff, which equates to about sort of 35 to 40% now of all councils, basically we can obtain that for you. However, the consistency is with the IPSA members. You will get a consistent search, if you like, if you order the regulated rather than. But the drainage and water one came along next. And it was quite interesting because at the time, involved with discussions on home information packs, the big group that was discussing it all included the water companies. Right. And the last thing they wanted was a regulated drainage and water search. They didn't want that. So home information packs demanded you had to go directly to and buy the reports, which tended to be more expensive, but gave him loads of information, some of which was totally unnecessary. However, they felt that, they could actually do it. The annoying thing is, and what is particularly annoying about it, in order to get that result, you just press a button and the answer comes, you can get the answer back unless they can't find the pipes. And that has happened on a number of occasions. But we actually sort of found once the home information packs went out of the window, you can now actually obtain the regulated drainage and water searches from IPSA members. So if you like, that was a second part that was required. So that was drainage and water searches. So when you go to buy a house particularly, and anybody that's buying into a property doesn't want to know certain other things, but they haven't actually put the full details on this third one now, but one which has become particularly and more important is that environmental search. Although recommended way back 20 years ago, it wasn't necessarily one that people bothered with. They would sort of tend to ignore it. And now there is a range of popularity. Now, this is where it gets very, very interesting, because we as an organization, IPSA, we're independent. And therefore, we enable, which is a rarity, we enable any of our clients to make their own independent choices as the content of the searches. There are 4 different companies that we actually sort of deal with directly from whom environmental searches can be retained. There are 2 which are British owned. In fact, no, there's 2 that are British owned, and there's 3. But the beauty of it is, from our perspective, all four of those, all four of the suppliers of environmental reports do actually support us in terms of sponsorship. And they're parts of bigger organizations, in fairness, but we do have the Landmark report. So they actually support us. They sponsor us, and they've sponsored us from very, very early on and continue to do so. And of course, they're very, very well known against just about every conveyancer that's going. The Landmark reports. The next one. Sorry.
Not at all.
Landmark are part of the Daily Mail group. The next one, so it's not exactly an independent one. It's a big corporate supplier. The next one's Groundshaw, and they're again a sort of corporate supplier, but they again have supported us, which is great to actually have these people sort of on board. And you perhaps remember, actually, Gareth, when you were able to attend and entertain us at our particular sort of meeting, we did actually have the drinks evening was actually sponsored by Groundshaw.
It was excellent, by the way.
So we had the drinks supported by Groundshaw, and we had actually some nibblies there, some food which was sponsored by one of the independent companies who offer us our environmental searches. They are British based. They're an independent one. They are in fact Martello, and if you like, that's one of the other environmental reports. They're both sponsors, but they're also corporate members, which is absolutely sort of great, because we do welcome that, because they're supporting us twice over. Both Groundshaw and Landmark do actually sponsor aspects of it, of what we're actually sort of doing too, and they will come on. The great thing is when we do have our meetings, when we do have our gatherings, we do those particular people who are sponsoring us, they do come along, and it enables the members to actually discuss the different sort of products, because we have them, we know them. Because I know, for example, that one of my clients, they have a preference for the Groundshaw environmental report, so they would have that one. One of my other sort of colleagues, their favourite ones happens to be Landmark ones, so they go down the Landmark route. So if you like, we can go down, but the beauty of what they're saying, although we can go down these different routes, we can offer that independent decision. Now, this is something which is
do each different kinds of report. I mean, they're the same, they're covering the same topic, but are there presentation differences between, for instance?
Oh, very, very much so. And of course, this isn't part of what we're speaking about, but that's why there is a preference in terms of what our clients are looking for, because obviously what has become very, very important now in many people's minds, we've got to be careful here, because like it's so many, as soon as something is mentioned, somebody's going to make some money out of it. It becomes monetized. And the great climate change has interesting words. Now, the universe has decided it's going to have a climate change. It's nothing to do with the human membership of the universe.
But we still have to, whether we caused it or not, we have to recognize the fact that it will have, if we don't do something to see the winds of change blowing in our direction, that we could easily end up under umpteen feet of water.
Well, there's several things. We could all freeze to death.
Quite right.
We do need to, because we go through ice ages, and we actually sort of go through ice ages, and the temperature goes up, and all of the caps on the top and the bottom of the world, that were frozen, they start melting. So there's more water, so the water level raises.
But taking notice of these changes helps us prepare for the inevitable. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, I think it is important. And what we're going through as a phase at the moment, where ground stability is quite a critical aspect. If you live very, very close to the coast, we do notice there are more cliff falls on the eastern coast than there are on the western coast, because that's there's more water around there, and the water's getting more volatile.
Also, it's not. Is it the coast around the area more made of sandstone and sand-related sediment rather than chalk based, which chalk erodes slightly slower?
They still erode. We've still got challenges. You go down the south coast. I mean, that coastal path can be a little bit whoa.
Yes.
I haven't gone over the edge yet. But there were times, not a place to go in the dark.
Well, actually, let me just cut you there, because I think you did say this is just the part one, and I just want to acknowledge the fact that I want to say a personal thank you. When I was ever since Hamish brought me into the fold, ever since I've been involved with IPSA, even on the periphery, the IPSA members have made me nothing but welcome, and I've much enjoyed working with you, Hamish, to promote all aspects of it. In the next of the series of this, we're going to be talking more about the different aspects and who we want to thank behind the scenes for that. But thank you so much, Hamish, for starting this process off. Guys, please do approach Hamish if there are specific topics you want us to cover. But until next time we talk, I wish all of you the best of searches, and also, more importantly, keeping your feet on the ground, but keep reaching for the stars and looking after that mental health. Until next time, goodbye.